amigos. Welcome one, welcome all. It's time for another exciting edition of your daily English extravaganza, the show with no name. And right now, it's time for liftoff.
9,
Come on,
8,
folks, lift
7,
off with me.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
The sky's
1,
the limit, as we
0.
say.
Ignition.
O sea, no hay límite.
Liftoff.
The sky's the limit.
30 minutes after the hour.
Come on.
Get ready.
Yes.
Hold on to your hat. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelt. Hold on to your hat. Get ready
For the ride of your life.
The show with It's show with no name time. On Fun Radio.
You know it.
It's a show with no name.
Get on. Let's go is right. I love those two words together. Let's go. Vámonos. Let's go. We've got plenty to do. Plenty means a lot. It's another way of saying a lot. We've got plenty to do on today's show with no name. Tons of challenges, tons of different sections where we learn about all different things, and we learn English from music, movies, from different challenges, listening exercises. We even, think about this, this is a radio show, this is a podcast, but we have speaking exercises. I mean, that's pretty crazy. Now, thanks to modern technology, you guys can record yourself speaking English. You don't need a recording studio, or you don't have to send me a cassette tape. You can send me a file, un archivo, and we can listen to you on the show every Friday. That's awesome. I mean, I think that's great. And I think based on the success that the section is having, I think you guys feel the same. It's a great way to practice your English, also to get to know your fellow classmates a little bit better. And let's be honest, what most people lack is opportunities to use their spoken English, to speak in the language. And well, you've got that opportunity every week on our Question of the Week section. In fact, we've got a lot of students who have already participated in this week's Question of the Week. So a nice round of applause to my super students who practice their speaking weekly. And most of the people's names I'm going to tell you right now are students who participate regularly. So you will hear improvement. You'll feel their confidence when you tune in to the Question of the Week this coming Friday. Now, there's still time to participate if you'd like. This week's question: how do you get out of an uncomfortable conversation slash situation, right? We don't say situation. How do you get out of it diplomatically? You know, you can run away, literally, huir, right? Like, get me out of here. This is, or you can be like, excuse me, I have to use the restroom. Tengo que ir al baño. I'm not feeling well. Hey, that always works. If you look at somebody like, listen, I feel a little bit queasy. Eso es como náusea. I'm liable to throw up right here. I have a hunch, an inkling, una idea, una corazonada, that person is going to shut up and let you go wherever you've got to go. So, hey, that's a good one. I just thought of it. Oh, I've got to puke. I've got to toss my cookies. I've got to blow some chunks. Those are all ways to say vomitar. The things you learn here on the show with no name. How to say vomit. To throw up, to vomit, to puke, to toss your cookies, to blow chunks. And I'm sure there are other ways to say, to Ralph, to wretch. Yeah, si te llamas Ralph, fíjate, pobres. Si conoces a alguien que se llama Ralph, su nombre también significa vomitar. So, yeah, welcome to English. Hey, we could do a lot of double troubles, too. If you eat too many cookies, si comes demasiadas galletas, you're going to toss your cookies. Vas a vomitar. Hey, folks. Well, as you know, that's what we love to do here. Play with words, because words can be these one-dimensional black and white things on a page, or they can be magical, things that grow and can be expanded on. And that's what we believe here on the show with no name. That's why we've got a lot of sections that have to do with wordplay. And wordplay is juego de palabras. Speaking of playing and games, I think it's time for our first challenge, a listening exercise that we call the Say What Soundbite.
Say what?
Yes,
What?
yes. All right, folks, and speaking of question of the week here, I just realized I forgot to give everybody a shout out. I was going to give you guys a shout out, those of you who have already participated. And those students, those model students, those amazing students are Alberto, Anix, Chris Valrol, Elena, and Nuria. Awesome job, all of you. If you would like to practice your speaking and get some feedback from yours truly, un servidor, as you say, well, make sure you participate. How do you get out of a weird or uncomfortable conversation or situation? I just gave you one way. Let's hear yours. Remember, you can record it on your phone. Keep it at around a minute. These are the guidelines, ¿no? Un poco los directrices. Keep it around a minute. Be aware of the audio. You don't want to scream into the phone, and you also don't want to have too much background noise. Well, unless you're Anix, because when Anix has background noise, it's usually nature sounds. It's the sounds of birds chirping. So if that's going to be your background, or ocean waves, hey, no problem. We'll listen to your voice. We'll also listen to that. That's one of the things I love about that, too. For a minute of my week, I feel like I'm at the botanical gardens with Anix when we're listening to her audio. So, folks, join these students, Alberto, Anix, Chris, Valrol, Elena, and Nuria, and participate in our question of the week. Send the audio note to my email address. It is, jot this down, apunta esto, aalonso@grupovon.com. So that's 2 A's, 2 A's, aalonso@grupovon.com, and do it before the end of the day on Thursday. And this way, we've got it ready to go for Friday's show. When we do it, it's a weekly section. And kudos, as I said, to all of you who make the most of it, que lo aprovecháis al máximo. All right, now we've got our Say What soundbite. I think you guys know the deal. You know the drill. Sabes por dónde van los tiros aquí. You have right now to listen to this audio note. It's, audio file. And give me your feedback on it. Tell me what you heard. And I want you to impress me with your English, as always. Now, it'll be a famous person. Let's take a look at today's. Yeah, today, extremely famous person, especially back in the 80s. And I think it'll be, honestly, pretty easy to get today. And we've got some really juicy vocabulary in there as well. Tenemos palabrones, some really good vocabulary in today's Say What soundbite. So, without any further ado, sin más, without any further ado, here's your Say What soundbite for the first time. Listen carefully.
Hi, I'm Thomas Magnum. I'll bet it's pretty cold back there in Tidewater. It never gets cold in Hawaii. I'm Billy's uncle, and he asked me to make this tape about a day in the life of a private investigator for him to bring to show and tell.
Alberto, estoy leyendo un cómic y me estoy dando cuenta de que todas las onomatopeyas que salen son verbos en inglés.
Of course, man. We love making it easy.
Por ejemplo, aquí pone chomp y está un animal masticando.
Sure, to chomp.
Es mascar, ¿no?
Sí, mascar. Y lo haces con tus piños. Your chompers.
Ah, chompers es los piños grandotes, ¿no? Vale, y to click, por ejemplo.
To click. Well, to click is what you do on a computer. You click. Pinchar.
Perfecto, pinchas con el ratón. Claro, tiene sentido. To gulp.
Well, before I was gulping my soda. Gulp, 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 gulp.
Claro, estás tragando como un pato.
Eso es, no es lo mismo que sip.
Bien. To thump.
Thump. Don't thump your fist on the table. No des un pum, pum en la mesa.
De hecho, el conejito de Bambi se llamaba Thumper.
Eso es, todo tiene sentido en inglés.
Claro que sí, por eso hemos hecho el tercer libro de This Book is the Milk, que se llama This Book is the Shit. Este libro es la leche. Por Alberto Alonso
y Damián Moya.
Así da gusto aprender, y lo sabes.
And you know it. That's right, folks. You know it. It is This Book is the Milk. This Book is the Shit. This Book is the Milk 2. English Everywhere and English on the Go. Those are my 5 books. I recommend each and every one of them. In fact, as many of you know, when you write a book, it's not 1 month. It's not 6 months. It can be a year. It can be longer. And it's not an easy process. It's rewarding. Maybe not so much financially, a little bit, it depends. But I've got to say something. It's pretty cool later on to say I've got 5 books. And thank you to many of you. I know so many of our listeners, you guys have my book. So I appreciate that as well. And today, though, we are not going to take a look at one of my books in our pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yes. Pop quiz, quiz. Pop quiz. Yeah. Let's go. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Yes. Folks, it's our pop quiz here on the Show with No Name. And this is where we look at one of the many materials available at Von Tienda. As you know, you can stop by and you can take a look around online, en la tienda online. Again, if you go to grupovon.com, that'll take you everywhere. You can go to the radio from there. That's kind of like, the home page. And you can also go to the Vaughn bookshop. Also, if you live in one of the cities where we operate, as you know, we are in Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, Vigo, Valladolid, Valencia, Santander, Zaragoza. Please stop by, pay us a visit. You can get a complimentary, that's another way of saying free, a complimentary level test. And remember, no one's going to make you, first, we can't. How do you make somebody sign up for a course? You're not obligated to do anything, zero obligations, right? As we say in English, para decirlo totally native, no strings attached. Just go in, say, hey, I'm interested in maybe taking some courses and I wanted to see where I stand. And plus, Alberto on the radio told me, hey, why don't I get a free level test, a free evaluation? So stop by any of our centers. Also, if you're interested, you can contact us on social media because, listen, I'll be honest with you. If you just stop by out of the blue, de la nada, and you say, hey, I want a free level test, I don't think it's going to happen. Okay, because, the people have appointments, ya hay citas, it doesn't work like that in life in general. Maybe you get lucky. But the point is, at least there, it'll be a first contact. And then what they'll do usually is say, okay, are you available next Thursday at 6 p.m. for a phone call? And then that's where you seal the deal. You get a level test, and then they give you the results afterwards, los resultados, and they recommend what, in the Vaughn sphere, en la esfera Vaughan, what would be best for you based on the level test that we gave you, okay? Now, that's up to you. If you want to go any further, if you say, okay, you know what? Well, you know what? I'm going to sign up for a master's course. Or, you know what? I think that, having a one-to-one class for me, that's the way to go. That's what I need. And you guys have determined it. And I've always felt it. And guess what? You can do it or maybe not. But the important thing is you will know where you stand. And hey, it's free. As I said, think of it as a level test. Think of it as a free consultation, right? And nobody's going to ask you for anything, and you'll know where you stand. I mean, I wish, I always say this when we talk about this, but it's true. I wish there was somebody. Hey, and maybe if you're listening right now or watching, and you can give me a Spanish level test, I would love it. I'm sure, what is it called? Chat GPT. If you ask it for one, it'll give it to you. But I'd be curious to see, where I had difficulty, up to which point I felt comfortable. And then because as most of these kind of tests work, they start pretty simple, and they go into a logical progression of more complicated structures towards the end. Now, I know that because I remember one summer, Vaughn was looking at a potential new client. And so I had to go, I think it was like 4 days, and level test these students. Tenía que darles la prueba de nivel. So I had to level test them. And it was an interesting experience because I saw, I learned a lot about how to analyze students, where they are and where they need to go, which as your teacher, that's important for me to know as well, right? I need to guide you in the right direction. You're trusting me to say, vamos por aquí, no te preocupes por esto. Mira, un truquito, dilo así, en vez de así. These little things, it's like if you have a tour guide when you go to a city. So that's what it's all about, folks. All right, well, let's take a look. We've got, for today's pop quiz, we've got Gramática Fácil, Inglés Gramática Fácil. You've got I think it's 188. Let me check. 180 lessons. It comes with audio. We'll listen to some of that audio right now, and we'll check out our pop quiz. So is everybody ready? Okay, here is a little audio clip from Inglés Gramática Fácil. Listen carefully because you know I'm going to have a couple questions for you afterwards.
Day 48. Verbs followed by the gerund. Listening challenge. Have you cleaned it yet? Have you prepared it yet? Has he translated it yet? Have they written it yet?
Day 49. Verbs followed by the infinitive. Listening challenge. We were able to convince him. I was able to find a substitute. Were you able to talk to her? The prisoners were able to escape.
Day 45. Pasatiempo. I have 3 brothers, and all of them study every day. None of them have problems at school. My 2 sisters work quite hard. Neither of them is lazy. They're so full of themselves. They're quite arrogant. I'm going to do it myself. None of the others know how to do it. I'm still in touch with 2 of my old classmates. Both of them were my best friends. What happened to the 3 of you? You're covered in mud. None of you have clean clothes. Jimmy and Maggie, have you looked at yourselves? You're covered in dirt. Both of you need to wash yourselves. My grandparents built their house themselves. Both of them are very proud of themselves.
Day 32. There plus modal verbs in the past. Listening challenge. There should have been a supervisor present. There could have been a cheaper way of doing it. There should have been an intervention. Day 29. There has been and there have been. Listening challenge. Has there ever been a sandstorm in the Antarctic? Have there ever been any traffic jams in London? Has there ever been a car crash in New York? Has there ever been an Icelandic pope? Have there ever been alien invasions? Has there ever been a thunderstorm in Spain? Have there ever been camels in your bedroom? Have there ever been any flies in your kitchen? Has there ever been a time in your life when you needed to speak English? Day 21. Had better. Listening challenge. You'd better not be late. We'd better hurry up. You'd better tell me what happened. He'd better not get into trouble. This had better be good. You'd better not sign the contract.
All right, there you go, folks. That is Inglés Gramática Fácil, just one of the many materials that you can pick up at our Von Tienda, where we've got, I don't know, I have got to ask this, but I would say around 200, 250 different materials. And I'm counting sets as one. So the Disney Von English collection, that's, I think, 30 books. I've got it, by the way, here at my house. 30 books, but I'm counting that as one, and I still think We have over 200 materials. It'd be a good question to ask. Well, they've been publishing tons and tons of different collections, materials, online courses. Speaking of, you don't have much time left if you want to take advantage of our 50. That's right. I didn't say 15. I said 50. 50% discount on our curso online de autoestudio. Go to grupovon.com if you want to get more information about this awesome deal. Chollazo, you say. All right, folks, we'll be right back with much more Show with No Name. So stick around. Yes. Welcome back, folks. Welcome back. This is the Show with No Name here on Vaughn Radio. And this is just one among many programs that are based on edutainment. Edutainment. It's a portmanteau, if you will. A portmanteau. Una mezcla de dos palabras como brunch, right? And here on Vaughn Radio, that's what you get. Edutainment. Educational entertainment. Yeah, well, we hope to entertain you. We don't want to bore you. Aburrir. I know you know the word boring and bored, but to bore is aburrir. A bore es aburrimiento. Y eso es conocer una palabra. Dices, bueno, sé la palabra bored. Primero, ¿lo pronuncio bien? ¿Digo bored o digo bored? Segundo, ok, pues hay bored y hay boring. Hay dos adjetivos ahí. Okay, what's the difference? The difference, jot this down if you didn't know it. The difference between being entertained and entertaining. The difference between being bored and bored. Boring, pardon me. The difference between being interested and interesting. I'll give it to you in context, in real context. A student told me once, Alberto, I'm boring in my job. I'm like, well, you're going to get fired. And she said, what? She was blown away, actually. She couldn't believe it. She says, have a heart. No, ten un poco de piedad. I said, well, yeah, if you're boring, who wants to work for somebody who's boring? So she said, I'm boring in my job. She meant to say I'm bored in my job, right? So I said, wow, poor thing. I said, well, that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing to be bored in your job. Now, what's the difference? That's what we're getting at. If you are bored, it's a result of something. If you're boring, you are the cause. Es causa y efecto. Right? So the movie was boring. Causa. No, causa aburrimiento. And I was bored, el resultado. The difference, I think, would be estar aburrido and ser aburrido in Spanish, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm bored, estoy aburrido. Es un resultado de algo, right? Cause, effect. Did it cause it, or is it the reaction to it? Okay, and estoy aburrido, I'm bored. Soy aburrido, I'm boring. And as I said, the word bore can also be a noun and a verb, right? He bores the audience. No, les deja aburridos. He bores his audience. His classes are a bore, un aburrimiento. Again, If you know the word like that, if you know it inside and out, well, then you've got it in your arsenal. All right, amigos, let's kick things off in the second part of the show with the listening exercise. This is the Say What soundbite for the second time. I think you'll agree it's a pretty easy one today, right? All right, let's do this.
Hi, I'm Thomas Magnum. I'll bet it's pretty cold back there in Tidewater. It never gets cold in Hawaii. I'm Billy's uncle, and he asked me to make this tape about a day in the life of a private investigator for him to bring to show and tell.
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace.
Mhm.
Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así de gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damian, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
Vaughantienda.com.
It's the Shit. That's right, folks. This book is the shit, available at Von Tienda. Also, Inglés, Gramática Fácil. You can pick them up at Von Tienda, or, hey, listen, I get it. If you subscribe to Amazon Prime, well, it's free. Well, it's not free, but you've already paid for it, right? So, that I get it. You're like, well, listen, I'll order it when next time I do an order from Amazon, and then they bundle it. To bundle es ponerlo todo junto. We looked at this word the other day, to bundle up. No, abrígate, bundle up. It is chilly out there. And hey, if you guys live anywhere near Madrid, you'll know that it is chilly, probably the chilliest time of the year. And what better thing to do when it's chilly than to eat chili in Chile? No, to eat chili in Chile. All right, it's chili. Vamos a mirar los tres. Chili frío, Chilly. Chilly. Chili, the meat sauce or the pepper, is Chili. And the country, Chile, which you say Chile, we say Chile. I think you know how to, I think we spell that one the same. So, yeah. Okay, I thought it was funny. That's a triple homophone right there. But it's not time for homophones. No, we've got to check what you guys said on your Say What soundbite section. Also, I got to give you your challenges in the pop quiz. All right. Oh, where's my head? Here we go. The first one, I want you to give me más te vale lo que sea Here, you got free range here, carte blanche. Más te vale hacer lo que sea o no hacer lo que sea. Si no, all right, and you can give the consequence or not. So I want to know if you see that structure. If you not see it, if you know that structure, okay, if you know how to use it in a way you would do it. Más te vale no tal o hacer tal, si no, lo que sea. And again, you can put something after that si no, it's up to you. You know, try something. Intenta usar el inglés a tu manera. Think of it that way. All right, the second one. No fui capaz de comunicarme con ella. We took a look at that. Capaz de. Ser capaz de. Right? No fui capaz de comunicarme con ella. There are many ways to say comunicarse. Be creative. All right? And we'll take a look at that structure. Capaz. Okay? And the last one, this is a translation. No ha habido ningunos problemas. No ha habido ningunos problemas. Okay? Now, you can say the word problems, but you know what? That always provokes a response of panic. Did you say problem? Oh, no. So give me a lighter way, como nosotros sabemos muchos sinónimos aquí, de decir problems más light. Okay, hay varios asuntos. I mean, you can do the same thing in Spanish, too. Okay, so no ha habido ningunos problemas. Okay, o ningún problema. De hecho, lo he dicho mal en español, si no me equivoco. Porque en español sería no ha habido ningún problema. Pero claro, en inglés, si dices, no lo dirías en singular. Oh, interesting. No ha habido. I never realized that. Wow, I see the light. I'm learning things about Spanish, English, and the way they intertwine. Y su forma de interlazarse, if I'm not mistaken, to intertwine. All right, so those are your structures. What I've given you today, well, the second one too. All three of them are structures that I'm testing here. Okay, also, porque el si no, I want to see if you know that, but más te vale, that's a structure. Es una fórmula, como yo llamo a la gramática. Okay? And the second one also, no eres capaz, no fui capaz. El otro es, no es capaz de, eres capaz de. All right, and the last one, el ha habido. All right, which is a difficult structure to master. All right, those are your pop quiz challenges. They're from Gramática Fácil. All right, let's take a look over here. We've got some students participating in our chat room here on YouTube. Born to Iron Man is in the house. What's up, Born to Iron Man? Morning. He says, sup, friends. Eso, mira, tío, parece una tontería, pero totally native. ¿Por qué? Porque la única gente que sabe sup es como decimos what's up. Es gente que o ha vivido en Estados Unidos o sabe, es parte del club, as I always say. You're a member. You're in the club, bud, because you say sup. Why? Because my friends growing up. Sup, dude. Sup. Sup, guys. Sup. Hey, you want me to compare it to its Spanish counterpart? I have never, ever, ever in a million years. Okay, I've only been in Spain for 20-something years. Well, but I used to come in the summers, okay? I used to come in the summers as well, okay? And I have never, ever, ever, ever heard anybody say, hasta luego. Yeah, olvídate de adiós, which is what they taught us in Spanish class. Yeah, I've never heard anybody say, hasta luego. You know why? They say, ta luego. Now, am I right or am I right? At least here in Madrid, ta luego. Even the Chinese people, right? At the corner store, the convenience store, they say, ta luego, ta luego. And I'm like, oh my God. But of course, why? They're just copying what they hear. That's what we do. So that's a counterpart of that one. We all have our taluegos. Sure. And then, as I said, it's not even that we learned, of course, we learned hasta luego, but we learned hasta la vista, which I've never heard anybody say hasta la vista ever. But that's one of the ones they teach you when they're teaching you Spanish, you know, in grammar school, in elementary school. So we're always looking for that native stuff. And Born to Iron Man always brings that native stuff with him. Great to have you with us. There's Chris Valrol, ready to rock and roll as always. She says, hey there, awesome sauce. Awesome sauce. Awesome sauce means la leche. Salsa de awesome, de mola. Salsa molona. Awesome, Chris. She says, both of you sound totally native. And Born to Iron Man did it with 2 words. Sup, friends. Y con esas 2 palabras has conseguido parecer nativo, ¿no? En tu forma de escribir. Chris, con el vocabulario, same thing. You gave us 1, 2, 3, 4 words. Hi there. Awesome sauce. Show with no namers. And you managed to put a totally native word in there. Excellent job. Awesome. All right, Chris, talking about our Say What soundbite. Let's see what her observations were. She says, I heard an American man, a star of an old TV series. Absolutely. You know what? I had a feeling you were going to know this, Chris. So a star of an old TV series. Y acordaos, esa palabra series, da igual si es singular o plural, es siempre series. So Sopranos is my favorite series, and I don't normally watch a lot of different series. O sea, son unas palabras que no cambian. Si es singular o en plural, siempre es así. Okay? And I'm surprised my phone didn't go off. Me sorprende que mi móvil no ha sonado. Well, my assistant's name is... right? Piénsalo así. Es como el asistente de Apple con una S. Because I have heard people pronounce it serious. No, serious. And I'm like, no, serious es serio, como eres una persona seria o no. Ahora sí que me sorprende que no salta esto. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad it's not interrupting the show. So, yes, he's a star of an old TV series, Chris says, which wasn't a magnum opus. Excellent. He's introducing himself and is going to show us what life is like as a detective in Hawaii. Excellent. No, perfect, Chris. She says, what life is as a detective. No, it's fine how you put it. What life, como es la vida, that's fine. As a detective, you said it looks right to me. So let me correct you. You don't have to correct yourself, well, unless you see an obvious mistake in there. But looks right to me. And you're right. Spot on, clavado, and you know exactly what you're talking about and who you're talking about. Okay. Born to Iron Man is participating in today's pop quiz. It's from Gramática Fácil in English. You can pick it up at Von Tienda. Some really good structures, which we're going to look at right now. Also, another thing I jotted down, que apunté, because I wanted to share it with you, because I was thinking, I wonder if they know this expression. Okay. And it's to be arrogant, to be self-centered, to be selfish, egoísta. Okay? A ver cómo lo traducen. They said in Europe. Yeah, no tener abuela. You don't have a grandma. We don't say that. I love the expression. I really do. Este tío no tiene abuela. That's funny. You mentioned 2 family members in there. This uncle doesn't have a grandma. Oh, man. All right. Esa es otra. Mira, in Spanish class, you think they taught us tío was how people said man? What's up, man? ¿Qué pasa, tío? ¿Qué pasa, tía? No, we learn tío es el hermano de tu padre. And tu tía es la hermana de tu padre. ¿Alguna pregunta? Okay, seguimos con la próxima lección, estudiantes. So yes, to be full of yourself was the idiomatic expression that we heard in that audio. He's really full of himself. Y piénsalo, es buenísimo. If you can imagine it, está lleno de sí mismo. O sea, él se autollena. He is full of himself. And I don't think that's a good personality trait. Característica buena de la personalidad. Trait es la palabra. Rasgo, I think you also say in Spanish. See, we're all learning here, folks. All right, so let's go on over here and see what else we've got. But Chris was spot on in the Say What soundbite. All right, Born to Iron Man says, you'd better listen to the show with no name. Otherwise, you won't meet the one and only Double A and his gang. Yes, sir. Mi pandilla. Somos pandilleros, ¿eh? Bueno, es que tiene dos significados. Yo te entendí, Born to Iron Man. His gangs. Pero decías mi panda, ¿no? Mi pandilla, la pandilla va a ser... Same, right? Now, if you say gangbangers, ahora sí que estás diciendo gang, like, gang, street stuff, bangers, right? Or gangsters. But his gang, me encanta, ¿eh? Te voy a dar un... Wait a second, is that your second totally native Born to Iron Man? Awesome. Great job. And as I said, the first one was in 2 words. One of them was totally native. So that's a good ratio. So you'd better. Ahora, es you had better. Pero nadie, o sea, es difícil meter la palabra had entre you y better. ¿A que sí? Vamos a decirlo a la larga. You had better listen to me. No. Solo contraemos is you'd better. Ahora, no me digas que es más fácil tampoco. Entonces, los americanos, los norteamericanos, my people, we decided fuck the D. A la mierda con la D. Yeah, true story. So you won't hear Americans say, you'd better do that, sir. No, they say, you better. Entonces, we've taken the liberty to remove the D. Now, I'm telling you that because if you have to take a Cambridge exam tomorrow, or the Oxford English test, which you can do at Vaughan, by the way, well, that you know the correct way to say it grammatically, right? In black and white on the page. But then when it's spoken, when we're talking about spoken English, I wouldn't worry too much about that D. We don't. Over 300 million people in the United States say, down with the D. No? Down with the D. Fuera de. So you better. Pero prefiero Born to Iron Man. I'm glad you put it out because I'd rather know that you know it and explain it after. I'd rather you know it correctly and use it correctly. But just be aware. You won't hear Americans say that D and definitely not say the word had in there. So you better listen to the show with no name. Otherwise, you won't meet the one and only, el mismísimo. That's nice, too. Esa que sabes. Es que suena genial, tío. Double A and his gang. The next one, I couldn't get through to her. Get out of here. Get out. No es que te vayas. Get out of here. Es calla. Otra vez. You gave us the totally native way to say it. That's the most. I wrote down 2 or 3 different ways here. And I think the one that you just gave me is the most native one. When I wrote them down, I thought to myself, oh, esta sí que es nativa. Y mira, es la que has usado tú. Así que awesome job. Wow. Honestly, you guys are awesome. Excellent job. I couldn't get through to her. Now, ojo, we also use this when it means no consigo comunicar con él, como no me hace caso, right? She's been having a lot of problems. And, you know, I couldn't get through to her. I was trying to convince her this, the other, and I couldn't, no conseguí llegar a ella, right? So we use it by phone, email, right? But also we use it in that other sense. Like, I don't know what to do, man. I don't know how to, my parents, when I would get in trouble when I was a kid, I didn't get in trouble much, but we don't know how to get through to you, man. No sabemos comunicar contigo. We're telling you can't keep getting in trouble at school, you know? So no sé cómo decírtelo. Would be maybe, comunicártelo. Same meaning, but it's in a different use, let's say. It's more in the figurative sense of comunicarte con alguien. Okay, just so you know, you can use it either way. And the last one, there haven't been any issues. Excellent. There haven't been, no ha habido. Ahora, si hablamos de un singular o incontable, there hasn't been. Okay, so tenemos dos estructuras posibles con eso. There hasn't been any rain lately, que es frase totalmente falsa en Madrid ahora mismo. There hasn't been, pero es correcta gramáticamente. There hasn't been any rain. There haven't been any storms. Apúntalo así, ¿te acuerdas? Este es el singular o incontable. Y en la segunda estructura lo empleamos con plurales, ¿ok? En this way, you know, you can, ahora ya cambias el sustantivo al que te da la gana, pero ya tienes la estructura, ¿ok? So, excellent job, buddy. Chris Valrol says, you'd better go now. Más te vale irte ahora. Otherwise, it'll be chilly later. Great. Otherwise. The next one. I wasn't able to get in touch with her. I wasn't able to get in touch with her. Excellent. Muy nativo. Totally native, too. And there haven't been any issues. Excellent job. You guys knocked it out of the park. We've got to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we are going to continue to learn and laugh together. So stick around. Yes, welcome back. Welcome back, amigos. This is the second part of today's show with no name. Tons of stuff to do, as always. And don't forget to listen to all our other amazing programs. Programs you can listen to if you download the Vaughn Radio app. Or wherever you listen to podcasts, you can find our shows as well. Whatever works for you. Also, remember, we've got our Vaughn Radio Trivia Night coming up. It is literally right around the corner, February 3rd. That's right, Tuesday, February 3rd. Tuesday, February 3rd, you can join us at the Toast Tap Room in Malasaña. A really cool place to have a beer, have a snack, meet some friends, and mingle, mezclar, as we laugh and learn together. So, folks, we've got so much to do in this part of the show. I can't believe that are we really halfway through the show, or am I losing my mind here? Unbelievable. Well, thank you. All your participation, all your energy contributes to the show with no name and the madness. La locura. And as Laura said the other day, there's a method to my madness. Yes. Estoy chiflado, estoy loco, lo sé, I know. I'm a big mouth, bocaza. I know it. But there's a method to my madness. Believe me, there's something I am trying to get through to you, para usar el vocabulario de antes, comunicarte, that learning must be fun. You want to fall in love with learning. All right, well, let's play a little game here, a little challenge we call Homophones on the Show with No Name.
Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name. The show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's homophones only on the show with no name. And let's see what words we're going to look at in today's homophone section. As I said, these are probably the most confusing, among the most confusing words we'll look at on every show because I chose them for a reason. Right? I chose them because time and time again, I've seen students stumble with these words because they've either pronounced them the same and you're not supposed to, or they haven't pronounced them the same and you're supposed to, right? So this is what we're getting at over here with this section. All right, the first word, we'll see if you know it, is rasgar, romper, okay? Another way to say it is to tear. Se escribe igual que tear, pero es diferente. Because tear, que te salgan lágrimas, that's a regular verb. He teared up. De hecho, le metemos un up ahí porque sí, porque nos encanta los ups. Call me up. He started to tear up. Pero esto no es tear, aunque se escriba igual, es tear, tore, torn. Pues esto es un sinónimo de eso. Okay, rasgar, romper. It's also el rasguño as well. También significa copiar. Remember, if you used to burn DVDs and CDs, pues copiar video o música. And I know that word is un anglicismo over there. Now, you'll also see it written on tombstones. Right? A tombstone es una tumba. That's right. Okay. También es to criticar. All right. También, si lo usamos el adjetivo, man, puede ser cachas. Si usamos el adjetivo, también puede ser borracho. You'll know from the context. So that first word here, también si le añadimos off, estimo, timar, which we've looked at as well. So esta primera palabra, realmente, you need to know how to pronounce it. Because, wow, I'm looking at all the different uses here, ¿no? Hacer pedazos. Tirarse un pedo. Oh, look at that one. Estafa, we already said. Arrancar algo, no? If you've got a Band-Aid. So it is a synonym for tear, but it's not the word tear, okay? And as I said, it has a lot of other meanings, but we'll delve into that, indagamos, when we reveal the two words, all right? The second word is a word I know we've looked at before, and it is to harvest, cosechar, segar. Now, it also is used in the figurative sense, cosechar, recoger, no? What you get as a return, okay? So we use it too. Si ponemos la palabra con the benefits, es ver los frutos, cosechar los frutos de algo. You also have the expression that we have, recoges lo que siembras, o cosechas lo que siembras, okay? So both interesting words. And the first one is very rich. As I said, it's got many, many uses, which we will look at individually just to familiarize you with this very useful one. And the second one, You know, it's got really one use, but then it's used in many figurative senses and many totally native idiomatic expressions as well. So you need to know both of them, is what I'm getting at. All right. Those are your homophones or not. You tell me. All right. Here's your Say What soundbite. I'm going to give it to you now for the third time.
Hi, I'm Thomas Magnum. I'll bet it's pretty cold back there in Tidewater. It never gets cold in Hawaii. I'm Billy's uncle, and he asked me to make this tape about a day in the life of a private investigator for him to bring to show and tell.
Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Vaughntown, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughntown, lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to groupovon.com or give us a call, 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughntown. That's right, folks. A total immersion experience. It's immersive. It's an experience. I mean, it's not a course. It's not a class. It really is an experience where you can really get in there and learn English, you know, as we say, to get your hands dirty, ensuciar las manos, no meterte ahí en el ajo en el meollo. I think that might be a decent translation of it. It's Vaughntown. If you want more information about Vaughntown, you can go to grupovon.com and get all the information you need about that or any of our initiatives, such as Masters, the Disney Vaughn English for the kids. That's on the weekend. Very, very popular classes. In fact, a lot of our classes, they fill up quickly. So if it's something, you know, for Semana Santa, for Easter week or anything like that, that's stuff that you want to start looking at now, because thankfully there is a demand for our courses, and especially ones that are, you know, when a lot of people have off, no? Cuando mucha gente no tiene cole o no tiene, you know, our campamentos, all of this stuff. Again, all the information you need is at groupovon.com. We are on social media, so you can follow us on any of our different platforms, Facebook, Instagram, or any of the other ones. Even LinkedIn. Yeah, they're on LinkedIn as well. Now, let's go over here to our chat room. Chris says, any conundrums? Oh, that's another great word for issues. That's right. So issues, conundrums. Otro que es súper bueno, matters, asuntos. There was a matter yesterday. Guys, matter? That's awesome. Now, asunto entre dos personas, infidelidad, or however you say that, that's an affair. It's a little bit different, right? Okay, so an affair. Well, there was an affair. So conundrum, great one. Yeah. So matters, issues, right? But the word problem, just avoid it. It only causes problems. If you say, well, there was a little issue yesterday, it makes, I mean, your choice. Listen to this. I know this. Richard Vaughn knows this. You guys know this. I mean, we're educated people here. No hemos estudiado algo, sabemos. Your choice of words is really important, right? In a job interview, if you're like, bueno, nada, estaba de tranquis. Okay, good luck. Good luck with that. No? Nada, estaba con mis colegis. Okay, well, you know. You know what I'm getting at. You know, you want to have a certain, you can always go into informal mode. Sure you can. but it's good to know how to get into formal mode when you need to as well. Have to give a speech. You have to do a job interview in English. It reminds me of, clothing. It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. And I don't mean llevar menos ropa. To be overdressed is, mira, vas muy formal, tío. Vienes in smoking. You're here in a tuxedo and everybody else is wearing sweatpants. Chanda. But they do say that. It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. If everybody's wearing a tuxedo and you're wearing jeans, guess who is going to stick out like a sore thumb? The expression to stick out like a sore thumb is destacar y no de forma buena. Not like to stand out. To stand out, you're outstanding. Oh, eres genial, sobresaliente. You're outstanding. You stand out. Esa es la positiva. Pero to stick out like a sore thumb es destacas como un pulgar hinchado. O sea, el pulgar ya sobresale. It sticks out. Piénsalo, si miras el dedo y ahora si encima lo tienes hinchado, pues se va a ver de lejos. It's stick out like a sore thumb. I love those little idiomatic expressions, especially when there's a visual part to it. When you can explain, bueno, lo decimos porque si lo piensas, because the chances of you guys remembering them goes up tremendously. And that's great, when we can associate things in our heads. Chris, speaking of heads, she says to be big-headed. That's right. To be full of yourself, to be big-headed. But I insist, there's none better than no tienes abuela. I mean, that one takes the cake. Se lleva la palma. All right. Let's see. What else have we got over here? Okay. Here we go. We've got our homophones. Born to Iron Man is participating. First one. And he says the two words correctly. Excellent. And he says they don't sound alike. Chris Valrol also gives us the two words correctly. And she says they're not homophones. I'd say. All right. Well, the first word is rip. Rip. Say it with me. Mira, si no repites nada en todo el programa, que no sea ahora. Este es el momento que hay que repetir, porque son aquí matices lo que estamos mirando. ¿Ok? Rip, rip, dip, sip, sorber, right? Dip, mojar algo, right? He dipped the chip in the salsa. Mira, chip es otra. So dip the chip, rip. Okay? Rip. The second word is reap. Let me say both. Rip, reap. Rip, reap. Excellent job. Born to Iron Man and Chris Valrol. You can't fool them. No les vas a engañar a ellos. So that's right. That word rip es mucho más cortito y no es una I latina, es el E. Ese sonido que siempre digo cuando topamos con ello que hay que dominarla, ¿no? Esa I latina que no es I latina que hay que suavizar, right? So rip. So rip. Let's look at some different ones. Please don't rip my paper, okay? My paper is ripped. Es un verbo regular. We also said ripped is drunk. Man, you were ripped last night. That means you were drunk. And if we're at the gym and I say, man, you are ripped, cachas, que tienes muchos músculos. So right there, we've already got a lot of meanings there, right? There's a rip, como sustantivo. There's a rip in your shirt. Did you rip your shirt? Yeah, I think I tore it before. Rip. Okay, rasguño. We said copiar. Remember los ripear. You even said ripear un DVD. So a DVD rip, a ripper. And what you did, the verb was to rip. Rip, rest in peace. Or R.I.P. se dice también. Right? To rip off, timar. We've looked at it before too. A rip off como sustantivo. Man, are you kidding me? $100? That's a rip off. They're trying to rip me off. And I am going to rip into them. Voy a criticarles. Okay, humillar. Man, if you try and rip me off, I am going to rip into you. Toma freso, double trouble ahí, right? Again, this could be a quadruple, even more. To rip something up into pieces, en pedazos, right? I can't believe you ripped up the contract. Oh my God. Oh, well, at least you didn't let one rip. What? I said, at least you didn't let one rip. To let one rip? What does that mean? Yeah, I don't have the sound effect, so I had to make it with my lips. Yeah, now cut the cheese. Hey, did you think when you woke up this morning that you were going to look at all different ways to say to fart and to vomit? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show with no name. Oh, I teach you useful English, but then I teach you all that other stuff too that, let's be honest, let's call a spade a spade. Las cosas por su nombre. Everybody wants to learn that English. So let one rip, or to rip one. Did you rip one? Piénsalo. ¿Qué pasa cuando rompes un papel? Right? It makes a quick sound. Otra que me encanta, to pass gas. Right? Did you pass gas? Y estoy viendo alguna más que quiero to rip, to shreds, rip off. Yeah, I think those are some of the most common uses of that word, rip. So let's repeat it. Rip, drip, gotear, sip, sorber, lip, labio. No lip, lip. Dilo conmigo. Okay? Flip, dar una vuelta, flip. Tip, propina o consejo. Tip, no tip, tip. And the second one, me imagino que nos cuesta tanto porque es el sonido y latina, reap, right? De hecho, lo hemos mirado porque mucha gente dice R-I-P como esto. Y no, rip versus reap. Rip, reap. So, you reap what you sow. S-O-W se escribe, S. To reap the rewards. He's been investing, he's been working really hard, and now he is starting to reap the rewards. To reap the rewards. And as our friend Born to Iron Man points out over here, don't fear the reaper, don't fear the reaper, don't fear the reaper. Don't fear the reaper. That is an awesome, amazing song. Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult. Awesome. I love it when you find stuff there in music. And who's the Reaper? The Grim Reaper, or the Reaper is la muerte personificada, right? Personified, we say. Personified. It's that skeleton, you know, the skeleton with the hood, con la capa. Yeah, that one when you see a cartoon or something and they personify death, that's the Reaper, the Grim Reaper. And they have a song, Don't Fear the Reaper. I think one of the spiciest peppers in the world, speaking of chili, one of the spiciest peppers in the world is called the Carolina Reaper. O sea, la muerte de Carolina. That's pretty nuts, I would say. All right, well, excellent job in our homophone section. Great job, guys. But right now, we have got to change gears because it's time for our spelling bee.
Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee.
All right, amigos, welcome to our spelling bee here on the show with no name. Let's see what we've got in store for you on today's spelling bee. All right, as always, I'm going to spell some words. The first time, I'm going to fly. The second time, I'll slow down a bit, but I am not going to go slow. We've got plenty of shows for beginners. This is a show for superstars and beginners who can keep up, mantener el ritmo. All right, see if you can keep up with round one. The first one is SINGAPORE space CABLE space CAR space CRASH. The second one is OIL space RIG. The third one is ENIWETOK. The fourth one is SENTOSA space ISLAND. The next one is 7 space CASUALTIES. And the last one is 13 space TRAPPED. Oh my God. That was fast. I honestly cannot go any faster than that. Not me. Maybe you'll find another teacher who can, but not this one. Oh my God. And I've got to say something. Richard Vaughn, when I first started working at Vaughn Radio some 20, I don't know how many years ago, in a galaxy far, far away, he said, "You need to slow down." And I said, "What are you talking about, Richard? I can't slow down. I talk really fast. What do you want me to say?" Right? So it's true. I said, "I've got a lot to say, Richard, and I've only got 2 hours to say it." Well, actually, at that time, I only had a 1 hour show. And he goes, "Okay, I got an idea." we'll make it a 2 hour show. And have I slowed down? No, I haven't slowed down very much. It's not my style. Again, some people talk like this, and other people, maybe it's because I'm nervous, maybe it's because I'm a little bit nuts, un poco loco. But yeah, this is the way I naturally speak. And also, I don't like to speak like an English teacher to you, because then when you get out there in the real world, you're going to realize that's not how people speak. All right, it looks like we might have a winner on our hands. Let's take a look over here. Born to Iron Man, the first one is correct. The second one is correct. The next one is also correct. So is the fourth, the fifth, and the sixth. Ladies and gentlemen, unstoppable. Unstoppable, unstoppable is unstoppable. All right, here we go. This is round two. The first one is SINGAPORE space CABLE space CAR space CRASH. The second one is OIL space RIG. The third, ENIWETOK. The fourth one is SENTOSA space ISLAND. The next one is 7 space CASUALTIES. And the last one is 13 space TRAPPED. Folks, we're off to our final commercial break. We'll be right back with the rest of today's Show with No Name. So stick around. Welcome back, amigos. Welcome back. This is the fourth and final part of today's show with no name. Thanks so much for joining us here on Vaughn Radio. You've got amazing programs on the Vaughn Radio app, excuse me. The big little hamana on the Vaughn Radio app. Well, that's what happens, see? When you speak really fast, well, sometimes, that happens. It's par for the course. So make sure you tune in to all the other amazing programs on the Vaughn Radio app. The Pro Bow Show with Rob Grams, Richard Vaughn Live, No Excuses with Fitz, Jessica Fernandez, and The Hour to Empower. Kyle Miller, Drive Time, Chris Frank, and Frankly Speaking. The Salad with Dave Boyce. Let's Get Random with Jules Linares. Speak English with Ruby. The Lunchtime Show with my buddy Rob Grams. You can catch him twice. Start your day with Rob on the Lunchtime Show. And you've got him, start your day on the Pro Bow Show. And then you can have a lunch date with Rob on the Lunchtime Show. That's it. Well, actually, you can listen to the Lunchtime Show at breakfast time if you want. That's up to you. As I always say, there's no wrong time to learn a little English with the Vaughn Radio app. All right, are you ready for another challenge? I know you are. Of course you are. It's time for today's double trouble. Yeah.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double trouble.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, here is your double trouble. A tough one today, I think, because both of them are, both parts, both words we're looking for here are part of totally native expressions. Okay? So the first one is iré al grano. So, iré al grano, no ando con rodeos. Okay. Iré al grano, no ando con rodeos. Él trabaja o empeña muchísimo. Es trabajador, ¿no? Trabaja duro, trabaja mucho. Okay. It's even difficult to translate today. Let's check it out how they say. Aquí está. Perfecto. Okay, tenemos los dos. So the second part, él se rompe el lomo. Hey, that's a good way to say it. Yeah. Se rompe la espalda. Okay, it means que trabajas really hard, mucho, ¿no? Mucho, fuerte, duro, right? Eres un trabajador is how I initially translated. Pero no trabajador, él es un trabajador. No, él es trabajador. That way, okay? So that is part 2. And the first part is iré al grano, okay? No ando con rodeos. Okay. That's what it's, let's see. Now I'm just questioning it because it sounds, yeah. Lo estoy diciendo claramente, ¿no? Puedes estar seguro. Iré al grano. Okay. Lo diré en una forma que no deja duda, ¿no? Alto y claro would be another way to say it. Sin rodeos might be a good translation. Okay? That's your double trouble. As I said, even hard to translate. That's how native, at least that first part is there, right? Because it says ir al grano. But also it's, no ir con rodeos. It's dejar las cosas claras. Las cosas claras would be another way to translate it. All right? That's the essence. That's the idea. Good luck. That's your double trouble. All right, it's also time for the fourth and final listen of today's Say What soundbite. I thought someone was going to get it because I think it's pretty easy to get today, but we shall see because this is your last chance.
Hi, I'm Thomas Magnum. I'll bet it's pretty cold back there in Tidewater. It never gets cold in Hawaii. I'm Billy's uncle, and he asked me to make this tape about a day in the life of a private investigator for him to bring to show and tell.
¿Te gustaría abrir puertas a nuevas oportunidades y estar listo para cualquier desafío? Con el máster de inglés del Grupo Vaughan podrás transformar tu futuro. Este programa intensivo te ayudará a dominar el inglés profesional, perfeccionar tu comunicación y ganar la confianza que necesitas para conseguir tus objetivos. Nuestros profesores Vaughan especializados te prepararán para afrontar en inglés todas las situaciones de comunicación en un entorno profesional. No dejes que el inglés sea una barrera. Invierte en tu futuro con el máster de inglés profesional del Grupo Vaughan. Llámanos al 91-133-5833 o entra en grupovaughan.com.
That's right, folks. GrupoVaughn.com, where you can find out everything you need about our courses. Remember, right now, our online Auto Estudio, some of those courses for the month of January 2026 are at a 50% discount. That is definitely a great deal if it's something that you were thinking about doing. All right, let's take a look. Oh, I wanted to tell you something. In the Say What soundbite, I'm going to help you out here because if not, it's really hard. Tidewater, I believe, is the name of a town. Okay, in the Say What soundbite. So he says Tidewater, right? Maybe that's confusing people because it does sound like a town name, even if it's a fictional one. It's Agua de Marea, the tide. So it sounds like the name of a beach town. Okay. So if that's throwing you off, now you know. A lo mejor eso te ayuda con el Say What soundbite. Tidewater. Okay. Como un nombre de pueblo. I think it sounds like if it's made up, it sounds pretty real. All right. So a little help over there on the Say What soundbite. I think you might need some help on the double trouble as well. Okay. So, yeah. Okay, voy al grano. Nobody's getting that double trouble there. Okay, I'll tell you what. I will give you a clue. It has something to do. We talked about the Reaper before, right? The Grim Reaper, La Muerte. Well, he's a skeleton. He's made of bone, right? Hueso. Go down that route. Okay? Te doy una pista ahí. Maybe the word bone. Maybe if I throw you a bone, echarte un cable with the word bone. All right? Okay. Hey, I'm trying to help you guys. Remember, my goal here is never to trick you guys or to fool you guys. Obviously, we play like, gotcha, but the idea is I want you to get the challenges right. So I'm giving you a little help in our difficult double trouble and also in our Say What soundbite with Tidewater. Okay. All right. Let's take a look at our spelling bee words. By the way, excellent job to our students. Oops, wrong effect. Born to Iron Man and Chris Valrol, you knocked it out of the park. Excellent job. Now, today we're talking about a tragic event that happened in 1983. It is called the Singapore Cable Crash. Okay? Cable car crash, que eso fue la primera palabra. Es difícil, es un poco trabalenguas. It's a bit of a tongue twister. The Singapore Cable car crash. Well, a cable car makes sense. Es una góndola, right? A cable car. No las que de Venecia, digo las del Monte, right? A cable car. I think, well, now speaking of cable cars, Madrid has a cable car, el teleférico, they call it, and it's being renovated. In fact, it's been closed for many, many years. In fact, I don't remember the last time I saw it running, but it looks like now they're going to restore and refurbish the Madrid cable car, the one that goes over Parque Oeste, Casa de Campo, that area. And that'll be cool. Although I have to say, as somebody who skied, I remember getting on some cable cars, on glaciers, glaciares, somebody who snowboarded, I should say, and being like, I hope this gets its maintenance checks. Espero que recibe estos sus revisiones de mantenimiento, the regular ones that need to be done. Somebody checks those cables and all the connections because woo-hoo. But this one was not, if you know Singapore, there was no snow involved. So this wasn't a cable car, so to speak, on a mountain at a ski resort, okay? This is one that is near their docks, near the bay. And it's just a cable car system that they used to move, at first, merchandise. Later, they moved people. So it was an aerial ropeway. And what happened was an oil rig named Eniwitok, okay, a Panamanian registered, that's for tax evasion, para evadir los impuestos. If something is registered in the Bahamas or Panama, like most of the cruise ships, we know what's going on, right? They're like, well, we don't really want to pay taxes on this big cruise ship, do we? So, and it struck the cable, one of the cables of the cable car. La palabra struck viene de strike, golpear, dio contra, as it was going into the waterway, into the bay there, Singapore Bay. And as a result, 2 cabins, luego la parte individual, la góndola en sí, 2 of the cabins plunged. Now, to plunge is caer como plomo. They plunged 55 meters into the sea. Sadly, 7 people lost their lives, and many others were trapped until they were able to be rescued. So this number 1 was Singapore cable car crash. Number 2 was oil rig. An oil rig es un tanker de estos que mueve petróleo. Eniwitok, that's the name of the ship that caused this fatal accident. Number 4 is Sentosa Island, and it connects Singapore with Sentosa Island, as I said, near the bay. Number 5 was 7 casualties. 7 people sadly lost their lives that day in 1983, today in 1983. And 13 people were trapped for several hours. So there you go. Excellent job in our spelling bee to Born to Iron Man and Chris Valrol. Also, Chris taking a stab at our double trouble. She says, I'm making no bones about it. He works his fingers to the bone. Ladies and gentlemen, yes. I make no bones about it. Voy al grano, right? No ando con rodeos. Te digo exactamente lo que es, right? Las cosas como son. I'll make no bones about it. He works his fingers to the bone. Y eso es una forma de decir, se deja el lomo. I love that one in Spanish. Apuntadísimo. All right, excellent job, Chris. You figured it out. Make no bones about it. I'm making no bones about it. He works his fingers to the bone. And I just taught you another one, too, with bone, didn't I? Oh, yeah. Throw me a bone. Échame un cable, ¿no? Ayúdame. Échame un cable. All right. We've got a lot to do still on today's show with No Name. Make no bones about it. So let's move on to today's Name That Movie. Name That Movie. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, you know it. It is time for today's Name That Movie, where we pluck vocabulary, expressions, and other fun stuff that we need to know from the movies we grew up with, right? We also use more recent, current movies as well. All right, let's take a look. In 1888 London. Oh, let me do it in a London accent. In 1888 London, a Scotland Yard investigator searches for Jack the Ripper. Oh, we know the word rip. We looked at that before, no? Rasguñar, romper, rip, he ripped the people up, right? Hemos dicho destrozar en trozos, dejar en trozos. Well, that's where he got his name. It's not Jack the Reaper, right? The Reaper sería la muerte, ¿no? O el que cosecha. It's Jack the Ripper, el destripador. Is that what you say? But you know how to pronounce that. Why? Come on, we looked at it in today's homophones. Rip versus reap. So in 1888 London, in 1888, a Scotland Yard. Now, Scotland Yard is the London police headquarters, if I'm not mistaken. A ver, como lo ponen aquí. Yeah, it's the London police headquarters. And the investigator searches for Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper, as we would say. Fijaos, los ingleses la ER lo dicen como una A. Nosotros como ER. All right. Well, I'll get into the scene here just because if not, we are going to run out of time. But the movie came out in 2001. 2001. Yes. Well, Chris, that's the character, Jack the Ripper. But the movie is From Hell. And I think that's because that's the way he signed his letters. Desde el infierno. From Hell. It stars Johnny Depp and Heather Graham, and it's a movie that came out in 2001. Let's take a look at this scene that I've chosen. Jack the Ripper says, "Why have you called me here, Netley? ¿Por qué me has llamado aquí, Netley?" And Netley says, "It's just, you say only 3 more have to be killed. I don't know if I can do it anymore. It's in all the papers. Está en todos los periódicos. I'm just a simple chap." Chap es chaval. En inglés británico. No lo usamos en inglés americano, pero lo entendemos. So, I'm just a simple chap, sir. I'm not a great man like you. I just don't know where I am anymore. And then Jack the Ripper says, There, Netley. There is tranquilo. There, Netley. I shall tell you where we are. We're in the darkest region of the human brain, a radiant abyss, abismo, abyss, where men go to find themselves. And Netley says, I don't understand, sir. And he goes, Hell, Netley. We are in hell. All right, the movie is From Hell. All right, well, we've got to move on to famous birthday trivia. 1, 2, 3. It's birthdays for you. Yes. Birthdays for me. Come on, birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. It's birthdays for him. It's birthdays for her. Birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. All right, let's do it. The first guy was born today in 1985. And he's only human after all. Don't put your blame on him. Some people got a real problem. Some people got love. This is a great artist. His real name is Rory Charles Graham. Oh, it's interesting because I just realized that. He has the same last name as our second birthday girl. So, wow. Eso ni me había fijado. Ahora, nadie le conoce por su nombre, Rory Charles Graham. Le conocen they know him because of his stage name. Pero bueno, ya sabes el apellido de nuestra próxima. Our next birthday girl, her last name is Graham. You say Graham, but we don't say the H, Graham. And a very talented actress who's been in many, many movies, License to Drive, Drugstore Cowboy. She was in Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me, Boogie Nights, From Hell. Wait, you mean Today's Name, that movie? Yes. She starred in From Hell along with Johnny Depp. She was also in The Hangover. She's awesome. Very beautiful as well. And I think one of those actresses that maybe she has gone under the knife, muchas operaciones, but you can't tell. Some people look totally different. All right, and this guy was a heartthrob. Era el guaperas, a heartthrob. He was he stole all the ladies' hearts back in the 80s. And, he had a mustache. They were popular back in the 70s and 80s. He was born today in 1945. He played Thomas Magnum in the TV show Magnum P.I. What does P.I. stand for? I thought you'd never ask. Private investigator. And he played that role from 1980 to 1988. It and he were all the rage, la moda. Everybody was talking about him. And then, he made some movies. I remember he was in 3 Men and a Baby, 3 Men and a Little Lady. And then he kind of, you don't hear too much from him. So he had a huge rise and, kind of a weird fall because he went from being, he was like a Julio Iglesias, wow, he's that handsome, suave, sofisticado. All right, Chris va al rol. Give it up for Chris. Rag and Bone Man. Hey, we looked at the word bone today, didn't we? Rag and Bone Man. Heather Graham. Acuérdate, no se pronuncia Graham, sino Graham. And Tom Selleck. Tom Selleck, the heartthrob. And that's going to bring us to our Say What soundbite. This is Tom Selleck playing Thomas Magnum. Magnum P.I., the detective. And he goes, hi. And he made a video for his, as he said, his nephew. Hi, I'm Thomas Magnum. I'd bet, supongo, apostaría, it's pretty cold back there in Tidewater. Que hace bastante frío ahí en Tidewater. It never gets cold in Hawaii. Aquí nunca hace frío. I'm Billy's uncle. Yo soy el tío de Billy. And he asked me to make this tape, esta cinta, cassette, right? About a day in the life of a private investigator. Un día en la vida de un detective, un investigador privado. For him to bring to show and tell. And show and tell is something that we do in American schools, es que tienes que traer algo a la clase y ponerte delante de todo el mundo y hablar de ello. I'm convinced Americans aren't afraid to express their ideas in front of people because we've been doing it since we were kids with show and tell. And it's something I do with my daughter. Okay, tell me about this drawing that you just did. And she has to, she gets up and she's like, well, I put the clouds here. And it's all about you defending your point of view. Doesn't that sound like something we do in our question of the week? That's right. All right, well, here it is, folks. Tom Selleck talking about show and tell.
Hi, I'm Thomas Magnum. I'll bet it's pretty cold back there in Tidewater. It never gets cold in Hawaii. I'm Billy's uncle, and he asked me to make this tape about a day in the life of a private investigator for him to bring to show and tell.
All right, folks, we are officially out of time. Thank you so much for being here with us and learning and laughing every day. Stay tuned because you can continue to laugh with all of my amigos. Up next, you've got Ale, and speaking with confidence, she is a wonderful person, and I know I'm leaving you in amazing, wonderful hands. No doubt about it. All right, the song today is Skin. I know I was singing Human before by Rag and Bone Man, but I figured since we've looked at human before on the show. Today, we could take a look at another one of his hits called Skin. So if you'd like to follow along, please do. It's Rag and Bone Man, our birthday boy, with the song Skin. Thank you so much, everybody. It's been an absolute pleasure, as always. Ciao for now.